All right, so move on to the next segment. We're going to pivot over here to the world of MMA inside the UFC world. And I'll be sharing my fight summary on the fight that took place Saturday night in the UFC between Movsar and Lerone Murphy. So it was Movsar who defeated Lerone Murphy by majority decision in the main event of UFC London. Now, my thoughts on the fight. Honestly, I thought this was a fun fight between Movsar and Lerone Murphy. Honestly, in my opinion, I think this was fight of the year thus far in 2026 in the UFC. I mean, it was a battle of unbeaten fighters at the time at the featherweight division in the title eliminator fight, with the winner getting their hands next on Alexander Volkanovski for a future featherweight title fight. And it was Movsar that won the fight. But honestly, I scored the fight 3-2 in favor of Movsar. Now, I had him in the second half winning all 3 rounds. I had him winning round 3, round 4, round 5. I think he definitely pulled away in the championship rounds against Lerone Murphy, but I can understand why some UFC fans are upset with the outcome, because they thought Lerone Murphy possibly won the fight, or this fight should have been labelized as a draw because Movsar did not get the finish, and he had a huge 1-point deduction in the 4th round with 2 low blow kicks to Lerone Murphy. Therefore, he suffered a 1-point deduction in the 4th round. So I can understand everybody's opinions, how you feel of the outcome between Movsar and Lerone Murphy. But I honestly think Movsar made great adjustments in the second half of the fight against Lerone Murphy, and especially towards the end of the fight, I think Movsar pulled away against Lerone Murphy. In the second half, he finally began to find his bread and butter, which is the wrestling and the grappling. He landed 8 takedowns and gained more control time. It was gaining more confidence in the grappling department against Lerone Murphy as the fight went on. And in the second half of the fight, I think he landed the more devastating, more impactful power strikes between himself and Lerone Murphy. And I think those power shots and landing the 8 takedowns, gaining control time, honestly made Lerone Murphy feel uncomfortable in the second half of the fight. So that's why I think Movsar pulled it away in the second half of the fight. Plus, the power shots were showing on Lerone Murphy's face, because that created the big cut over top of his eyebrow, which made Lerone Murphy bleed. And in round 4 and round 5, you could definitely see it. And honestly, this was a great fight from Lerone Murphy. Like, the first 2 rounds, I thought Movsar was going to need a finish to pull this one away from him, but he just couldn't capitalize in the later rounds. And Lerone Murphy had a good game plan. At times, he was winning the exchanges, the counter-punching exchanges, and he looked good landing his strikes and finding his punches. The jab, the hooks, the significant leg kicks, like, he was looking good against Movsar for all 5 rounds. And earlier on in the fight, I thought one of the best things that Lerone Murphy did was he did not let Movsar land the left hook in the inside at the beginning of the fight, which I thought that was very important for Lerone Murphy to do against Movsar. But Lerone Murphy claimed he popped his hip in rounds 4, round 5. There's no excuses, but he was moving around a little gingerly in that octagon. He wasn't fighting well in different lateral movements at that point. But Movsar, you got to give him his credit, because he just picked up his biggest win in the UFC, defeating Lerone Murphy, the 3rd-ranked contender at the featherweight division. Now he reaches a 10-fight winning streak in the UFC. That is actually the 2nd longest active winning streak in the UFC today. So congratulations to Movsar with a big victory under his belt, defeating Lerone Murphy. Now, the million-dollar question is, does Movsar deserve a world title shot next? Yes, I think there's no doubt that Movsar deserves to have a world title opportunity next against Alexander Volkanovski at the featherweight division. And that's why this fight was happening in the first place. It was a title eliminator between himself and Lerone Murphy. Why not give Movsar, the winner, his rightful shot at Alexander Volkanovski? If you guys follow the podcast, Movsar was actually my pick to end the year as featherweight champion. I thought he would be the guy to take the title from Alexander Volkanovski, but there is a curve here, because the UFC has clearly showed in the Paramount Plus era that they want the biggest fights to be made. And for their viewing, they might think that Gene Silva is the guy that should skip the line over Movsar and fight Alexander Volkanovski next for the featherweight championship. I don't think that should be the case. And Movsar has done everything possible to earn a world title shot next. Just defeated Lerone Murphy, the 3rd-ranked contender at the division. And Movsar is the number 1 ranked contender. So how could that overtake his spot? He's 20-0 in his MMA career. 10-0 since joining the UFC, the second longest active winning streak in the UFC that I just mentioned a few moments ago. He has some big wins at featherweight already against Lerone Murphy that he just earned Saturday at UFC London, Aljamain Sterling, a former world champion at the bantamweight division, Diego Lopez, one of the top tier names at this division, Dan Ige, and Arnold Allen. So he's got some top tier wins at this division. So what else does this man have to do to earn a title shot? But the politics here, guys. I seen Paramount just pull this move at the middleweight division where they just gave Sean Strickland a middleweight title opportunity against Khamzat Chimaev. They want to put the best fights on, in their opinion. And Sean Strickland is not even the number one ranked contender at middleweight. That title shot should have went to somebody else. So I would not be surprised here if the UFC gives Gene Silva an opportunity against Alexander Volkanovski next. And Alexander Volkanovski has already came out the mouth and said, what is Gene Silva done to earn a title shot next? It shouldn't be Movsar, because Gene Silva got knocked out against Diego Lopez back in September last year. And yeah, he defeated Arnold Allen, but is that really enough to prove to everybody that he's next in line for a world title opportunity? No. So let's do the right thing here. Let's give Movsar his shot against Alexander Volkanovski next for the featherweight championship. But one hell of a fight between Movsar and Lerone Murphy Saturday at UFC London. That is my fight summary on the fight that took place between Movsar and Lerone Murphy.